What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, CEO, MTS Nutrition, Chief Marketing Officer, tigerfitness.com, creator of that right bar, partner in Ambrosia, and that IFBB Pro card, which is as good as a doctorate in every single subject, especially the subject of gains. Just kidding, it really isn't, but sounded cool at the moment. So I'm going to talk real quick about something I did a video about. I did a video earlier saying I will never train to failure again. Because, the studies show that training to failure actually can hinder hypertrophy. I'm serious. I'm not going to cite all the studies, but I've read a lot of studies. And the studies are going to be against everything I'm saying today. I'll tell you this. I'm also going to cite some things that are said by really smart people like Mike Israetel, who believe in something called reps in reserve. So their theory is that instead of doing 10 reps, let's say beyond failure, do like 6 reps, take a break, and do like 5 more. That way you're getting more reps, you're getting more time under tension, all that good stuff, total weight lifted. So I was honestly doing the whole reps in reserve. I was holding back. I wasn't going beyond failure. And I wasn't very happy with my progress. Now, I'm currently 16 and a half weeks out from the Chicago Pro, which is the big deal for me because I'm competing as a pro. I'm making progress, but I just feel like it's not where I want it to be. Now, my weight's where it's at. It's doing good. But I feel like in training, I'm really getting bored with lifting. I'm really kind of mentally not there. And to be able to be like, yes, I can do this. Okay, but I'm going to stop just short of that. It was mind fucking me. So for me to go in the gym and be like, yeah, buddy, fucking 5 sets of 5, 4 sets of 8, 3 sets of 10. I just don't get hype like that. I like putting weight on the bar and lifting it until I can't lift anymore and then doing more. That's what gets me off. And my gains, my progress, since I started doing that when I started training with Felix, to be honest with you, Felix Norman, large individual, see my Instagram all the time, is that when we're together, we cannot not go to failure because our intensity is so high. It's not like, yeah, let's go, get your set. You get 10, but you only get 6 because I'll leave 4 reps in reserve. That's not how we fucking do it. So here's where I feel that the science is lacking. There are no studies done on advanced weightlifters, on or not on, we'll go into this a little bit later, anabolic steroids. So there's no studies on training to failure, beyond failure, on advanced bodybuilders, aging, getting in their upper 20s, mid 30s, early 40s, late 40s, whatever it is. All it is on athletes, and there's a lot of data on strength. Now, velocity training, which I talked a lot about in the last week with a couple of my colleagues, velocity training is one of the reasons why reps in reserve even exists. Because with velocity training, you're going for certain speeds, certain parameters. And with athletes, since they need to perform on the field, and they also need to perform more often, they're not training 2 on, 1 off. Like my daughter, she has soccer one day, soccer and lifting the next day, maybe wrestling and lifting the next day. Like they have to recover. So if my daughter was to, let's say she has a max rep, like her all-out max is 10 reps of a weight. As she force reps, it gets 12. She does that for 3 or 4 different exercises. You think she's going to come back the next day and be able to perform on a soccer field? No. So that's why athletes train different than bodybuilders, because they actually have to do something. Bodybuilders literally train. That's our sport. Our sport is training. We're not training to play football. We're not training to increase. We're not getting measured like power lifters on strength. The simple goal is hypertrophy. And with hypertrophy, you have to set new bounds. You have to set new parameters. You have to set new limits. Because at the end of the day, we're looking at progressive overload as one of the main variables of growth, right? Of hypertrophy. So let's say, for example, yesterday my 8 RM on leg press for 8 plates per side was 8 plates per side. So I normally, if I go really hard and I try, I get about 8 reps. Now, if I push past the limit, my mind's not completely, I might be able to do 12. But instead, I went, I'm not going to count. I'm going to do all these reps. I did my 8 rep max, or what I perceived to be my 8 rep max, for 35 reps on leg press. Why? The mind is a lot stronger than you think. That's what separates the Ronnie Colemans from the regional competitors. That's what separates the LeBron James from the sixth man. That's what separates your Lawrence Taylors, your guys your Ray Lewises, who take it to that next level with Lawrence Taylor minus the crack. So the mindset is key. And also in athletic training, there's something called tough treads, the super speed treadmills. I own one of them in my gym in Ohio. And the goal is that it's an Uberzadi is the organization I'm a part of, where I've been to seminars from, right? Good friends with those guys. Is they set this treadmill at literally faster than you can run on the ground, but it sets your running threshold higher. So your body's used to going that much faster. So when you get back on the ground and the rubber meets the road, you start running. Your capacity to run faster is better because your mind and your body have crossed that limit. So now that I know I could do 8 fucking plates on a side of a leg press for 35 reps, next time I go, my confidence will be there and my progressive overload is that much higher. And I can keep going and going because I have that confidence. And also reps in reserve. Now there are formulas and there's a lot of good tools that Velocity Training has, but a lot of y'all ain't using Velocity Training tools that are used by elite powerlifters and strength coaches. We have them, right? I don't use them, but I have them. I mean, I could use them for my athletes. A lot of my colleagues have them, but how the fuck do you know how many you have in reserve? Like, are you literally going to, like, most of us aren't going to invest in Velocity Training tools. Are you going to be like, oh, it's time to do dumbbell press. Hold on. Let me get my iPad, get my Velocity Trainer, put this shit on the dumbbell and push it up as fast as I can. And, oh, by the way, I think I get 12 reps. How do you know you can't get 13 reps? Now, there are formulas for this, but most of us aren't doing that. It's not fun. That's for strength athletes. That's for people getting ready for football season and basketball season and wrestling. That's for strength training. But we're looking at bodybuilding, hypertrophy. So take someone like me who has a perceived rep max of 12 reps on a leg press, and I get 35 reps. So here's a little story. Okay. So there's a guy who's an enormous guy. I know for a fact he's natural. I know for a fact. His diet's always on point, but as he gets older, he's not able to train at the same intensity he once trained at, which is, like I just said, beyond failure, stupid mindset, stupidly beyond failure. So what does this guy do? He has to cut back. This is a guy who is not on androgens, not on anabolic steroids. He's a guy who isn't fucking up his diet. He didn't turn into a marathon runner. Probably lost 20, 30 pounds from what I can tell. And it's not a knock to him. It's actually a compliment to how hard he trained. Because he can't train at that level of intensity. His body cannot set that progressive overload goal. Now look at my training partner, Felix. He's 310 pounds. Muscular as fuck, 29 years old. I'm 41 years old, well beyond my natural capability, through training, through diet, and of course through anabolic steroids. Not gonna lie, anabolic steroids have allowed me to surpass where my body's meant to be. Same with my training partner. So what does that mean? If we're gonna take it any further and maximize, I think we need to push our bodies so we could keep progressively overloading, because progressive overload isn't linear. But I know if I get 35 reps on leg press, while I might not be able to put more weight on, I'll be able to get more reps, right? So whether you're natural or enhanced, I do think that it should be used. Now, I train athletes and I never have them go to failure. I use never as a very loose term. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we'll do like today I have my programming plan for my team, and one of my sets, 5x5 deadlifts in groups of 3. We have 8 squat racks. I expect about 24 kids. So you have deadlift 5 by 5, but between that deadlift, we're going to do glute bridges and we're going to do planks. And it's going to burn them the hell out. And by the time they get that 5 sets of 5, they're going to be completely spent. Completely spent. But they're going beyond what they would have done, and that's beyond their threshold. Well beyond their threshold. And sometimes, like last week, I had kids go to 15 reps, and they did reach failure at 15 reps. But they didn't think they could do that many sets and reps. But now they know it. So they have more confidence to put more weight on the bar. A lot of what you see on the football field, the baseball field, the basketball field, it's confidence. Generally, the better players have the highest levels of confidence. So even for sports, there's a time and place to go beyond failure. So for me, even after saying I'm not going to do this anymore, again, that's because I was following the science and I did a lot of reading on it. I'm like, dude, this seems like the way to go. But as I delved further into it, I realized that there's a lot of holes in the data. The data is inconclusive. And also the data does not factor in large advanced training individuals who want to get even bigger and better and have their diet and everything on point, their rest on point. And also another thing, I want to just factor this in. A lot of these guys who like the whole reps in reserve, a lot of them like training 4 to 6 days a week. Now, with this training, you have to realize your system is going to be fucking fucked. So you're going to have to take that into consideration and take more rest days. Right now, training 2 days on, 1 day off. 2 days on, 1 day off. Any more than 2 days in a row, my third workout is absolute shit. So if you are going to train like this, and I have to give full credit to Dorian Yates for being the first one to realize this, you're training 4 days a week, or it averages out to 4.5, because 2 on, 1 off, obviously that's not 7. 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off. Dorian did 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off. But I think, and sometimes last week I did take 2 off. So for mine, it's 2 on, 1 off until I feel I'm not recovered. Then I'll do 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off. So there's what I have to say. Look, reps in reserve is fantastic, but there's a time and place. So for me right now, I will be going beyond failure. After the show, I will periodize and I will do probably 8 weeks of training where I'm leaving some reps in the tank. But again, do what's best for you. Try it out. See what works best. Anyway, guys, loblinerlowdown.com. Loblinerlowdown.com. Special. You see all this training, special footage, vlogs, all that good stuff. Loblinerlowdown.com. Get all your supplements from tigerfitness.com. I'm Marc Lobliner. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. That's not a game.
Look, bro, Ambrosia Kinetic is back in stock. This is the only mushroom pre-workout on the market, and literally this is all you need.
Don't need it. I just get mushrooms from the grocery store.
The type of mushrooms that I'm talking about, you can't buy in the grocery store. You need a shaman. Now, but seriously though, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, they do so many things. Antioxidants, not to mention the raw power that you're gonna get from the creatine. You're not gonna get this with that.
I don't eat creatine. I can just eat steak.
So you'll need a few pounds of steak for the amount of creatine that we put in here.
It's all right, bro. I like steak.
Listen, man, the type of focus that you get from the ginseng, the neurofactor, the coffee bean, you're not getting that without Kinetic.
I get all the energy I need from coffee.
That's not enough caffeine. You're not going to get the same energy.
For energy, I get white powder right here.
You've lost your mind, but I still love you. Let's go train. I don't care what you're saying. We're taking Kinetic. This is all we need. Let's get out of here.